Hello, everybody. Stamp friends. Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Cowdin, and this is Pettid, and we're the co-founders and directors of the hOle. We'd like to thank the United States Postal Service for selecting the hOle as the launch site for the Goodnight Moon Forever stamp set. It's an enormous honor for the museum and our staff, and for Kansas City. We have a full day of festivities ahead of us, including stamp canceling, postcard crafts, readings, and presentations. These activities will be happening on the first floor of the museum. And after the unveiling ceremony, you are welcome to get a picture with the stamps inside our life-size exhibit of the Great Green Room in the museum's bookstore. You can also do that right after this event, right here. So we'll talk about that later. We're here this morning to honor one of the most important works of American literature in the last 100 years. And when I say that, I'm including adult literature as well as literature for young people. On the average, we spend 20% of our lives as children. And yet we often forget that those years are the most important years of our lives. It's a time in our lives when we first discover the world, we imagine its possibilities, and learn what it means to be human. The best books that we loved as children are of no less value, artistically or otherwise, than the books we now love as adults. They simply reflect a perceptual world we no longer inhabit, a world of everyday magic, where the sound of a car, the trace of a shadow, the flight of a red balloon feel like the beginnings of a prayer, or the keys to an unsolved mystery. No one understood that world better than Margaret Wise Brown. And together with Clement Hurd, they created a masterpiece of poetic genius that has found its way into our collective consciousness and touched the lives of countless families across generations. Again, we thank the United States Postal Service for creating such a beautiful set of forever stamps that recognizes and commemorates Goodnight Moon for its cultural importance, and as a literary touchstone, and as a point of first contact for young readers. Today we welcome three guests to the stage for the unveiling ceremony, followed by more remarks. District Manager Jeremie 6. Director of Stamp Services Lisa Bobb-Semple. And children's book author and illustrator Thacher Hurd, the son of Goodnight Moon. All right, you guys are ready? Here we go. Lisa Bobb-Semple is going to share some thoughts.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. On behalf of the United States Postal Service, again, I'm Lisa Bobb-Semple, Director of Stamp Services, and I'm honored to welcome you here today to celebrate the Goodnight Moon stamp. It is a pleasure for us at USPS to host Thacher Hurd, son of illustrator Clement Hurd, here today to read this special story in celebration of this timeless stamp release. I also want to thank the founders of the Rabbit Hole, Deb and Pete, for being great partners with us. From the moment I saw the Rabbit Hole last year, when we were looking for a location to unveil the stamp, I knew this was the perfect setting. As many of you here know, Goodnight Moon has been a favorite bedtime story over the last 75 years for millions of families around the world. I found stamps and storytelling have one thing in common. Much like the simple act of sending a letter, reading a bedtime story creates a special connection and bond. Some stamp subjects seem to have a wider appeal than others and resonate with a broader audience. In the beginning stages of a stamp's development, it is sometimes difficult to predict which stamp subjects will have the broad appeal. From the moment it was announced that Goodnight Moon would be honored as a stamp, this garnered a lot of positive attention, and it is easy to see why, because of how timeless and nostalgic this book is across generations. Today, Goodnight Moon is among the best-selling children's books of all times. With USPS's tradition of honoring American culture, the legacy Margaret Wise Brown and Clement Hurd left with Goodnight Moon, it is more than deserving to be recognized as a stamp. This pane of 16 stamps features 8 vibrantly colored details from the beloved picture book, including the young bunny tucked into bed, the painting of 3 little bears, the toy house on the bedroom floor, the mittens and socks hung to dry, the tiny mouse paused for just a moment in front of the fireplace, the painting of the cow jumping over the moon, the older bunny sitting in the rocking chair with her knitting, and the calm Russian bowl of mush atop the young bunny's bedside table, all of which you can see downstairs in the great green room. So if you haven't gone downstairs to check it out, I really encourage you to do so. I also invite you to think of a child, a grandparent, or a loved one to share these stamps with. Try sending a card, a letter, or a note adorned with these stamps, and continue the tradition of passing ideas and dreams from one generation to the next. As you walk around the museum today and explore, I really encourage you to share pictures and videos from today using the hashtag #GoodnightMoonStamps. Thank you again for coming to celebrate these stamps. Please relax and get comfortable as Thacher Hurd reads aloud the classic Goodnight Moon story. Thacher?
Hello. Before Thacher reads, I just want to say thank you so much to both teams, the U.S. Postal Service team and the Rabbit Hole team. Everybody worked really, really hard, and it's really exciting to see everybody here. Bunnies, guests of honor, everybody who's been a part of Rabbit Hole, and thank you for being here. We're really, really happy that Thacher and his entire family is here. His wife, Olivia, his 2 sons, 4 grandkids, 3 generations of people who have been a part of this book and this world for so long. And so thank you, Thacher. Thank you, Hurd. And
wow, this is amazing. I'd just like to say a few words before I read the book. Sitting here, I was looking at this I felt really moved because I remembered something that happened a long time ago with my father. He had a house in Vermont, which we still go to, an old 100-year-old farmhouse, and lots of things from his early life were stored in the attic. And one day, he was up in the attic rummaging around for stuff, and I was sitting in the living room, I don't know what I was doing, twiddling my thumbs, and he came downstairs, and he was holding this little, like those little black composition books with the little kind of thing out on the cover. And he said, "Look what I found, Thatch. I found Margaret Wise Brown's original working dummy for Goodnight Moon, which had been sitting in the attic for like 50 years. It was in perfect condition. And there, in her little scratchy handwriting, was this story. Just exactly, basically exactly as it is now, except there was a last ending page, which fortunately got cut. It was something like, good night. I don't know what it was. It was like, good night eggplant, good night fly, or something. It's like a completely random thing. So, it's just really amazing to think that from that little scratchy notebook in this book that I think Margaret and my father understood that it was going to be something special, but when it was published, it wasn't really noticed at all. And it grew to become this book without anybody hyping it. I mean, it just kind of, kids love the book. It's a very strange, wonderful, it's a very grounded book. It's like very much in the world, but it's also otherworldly at the same time. How can you make a book with those two things? But it's such a deep experience, I think, for all of us to read it. So I just wanted to thank everybody who worked on the stamp, and especially the designer, Derry Noyes, who I went to high school with by chance in a little tiny school in Vermont. He did an amazing job with the design and laying it out and so forth. We were so thrilled with it. And then, of course, everybody else at USPS who worked on it, who decided to do it, and finally we made it happen. You made it happen. And especially a huge thanks to Pete and Deb. They ran an amazing bookstore here, as you know, and I did one book signing there myself, and I was like, there's this incredible bookstore in Kansas City, and then they said, we're going to do this project. And it sounded so far out, and so fantastic. I thought, how are they going to do it? And, here it is. It's amazing. It really is an extraordinary place. And the Great Green Room is fantastic. Just, if you haven't seen it, it is. I've seen various people over the years that have done small versions of it, you can walk into or look at, but this one is amazing. It's just so, it has the mood of the book, I think, really. So I think without further ado, I will read the book. You'll see them up here at the front. There was a story, I'll tell just briefly a story which some of you probably saw recently, which was a woman a couple of years ago was flying in a plane, a crowded flight, I think it was a night flight, and there was a baby screaming in a couple rows from her. And she said there was a dad there trying to deal with it, and the kid was inconsolable and howling his head off. And all of a sudden he pulled out Goodnight Moon and started reading it to the kid. And maybe I'll like all the people around started chanting the book along with her. It was like everybody in the plane was doing, saying this mantra or this whatever it is, this book together. So it has become that in our culture. Okay. Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown, pictures by Clement Hurd. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of a cow jumping over the moon And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs, and 2 little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Goodnight room, goodnight moon, goodnight cow jumping over the moon, goodnight light and the red balloon, goodnight bears and goodnight chairs, goodnight kittens and goodnight mittens, goodnight clocks and goodnight socks, goodnight little house and goodnight mouse, goodnight comb and goodnight brush, goodnight nobody, goodnight mush. Good night, and good night to the old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Pete has a few announcements to make.
All right, thank you, Thacher, and again, thanks everyone for coming, and thanks to Ann Watt for ASL services today. So just a few points of order. If you want to get a picture up on the stage, we're lining up by the flowers on the wall over there, and that's where the line will go, so you can step up and get a photo up. You can also explore the museum today, and if you decide to do that right now, you can go back the way you came up, or you can go back out this way on this side of the stage into the museum. There are stamps, as you probably saw, in the cafe area, and drop-in crafts in the Tons of Fun room, which is right near there. Where you can make your own postcard and use some of those stamps. You can have a bit of mush at the cafe, if you so desire. And of course, again, the Goodnight Moon, the Great Green Room exhibit downstairs, we will also have a photo opportunity as well. I think that's it. Is that good? All right, well, thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day.